Hi, welcome to the Active Value Investor channel. My name is Victor Hernandez, and today I'm going to be covering a food company by the name of Tyson. You likely heard of this company. If you walk through a grocery store, you've noticed their chicken, which is a very well-established brand, but they also sell beef, pork, all kinds of different protein products. They're also the number one supplier for McDonald's. So if you've eaten chicken nuggets at McDonald's, you've eaten Tyson Foods. I'm going to evaluate this company. I've invested in Tyson for 3+ years, and this is my scorecard that I like to follow. First, do I want to be in this industry? Is it an industry that I want to be involved in that I believe has a good long-term position in our economy? Second, is the company operated and performing well? Am I getting a discount on the stock? I like to value stocks based on free cash flows, and I'll go into an analysis of the free cash flows that I expect out of Tyson and how I value them. And last, having gone through the first three items, making the decision, would I buy more shares today or would I buy into a position in a new company based on the facts above? Let's take a closer look at Tyson Foods. So one thing that I really like about Tyson Foods is they've grown their sales. If you look at the last 5 years, they've gone from 40 billion to 53 billion, which really shows good, consistent growth. Over the last 12 months, Tyson stock has gone down more than 30%. And a couple of things that I would note is they're really putting in a lot of capital investment in their business, making their factories better. And that's a good thing. But it really reduces free cash flow. And I think that might have something to do with it. At least that's why my valuation is going to be lower than, let's say, a year ago. And other dynamics are out there. Obviously, we're in a recession. 2022 was a rough year for stocks. So there is macro events happening that I think are bringing down stock prices. In the case of Tyson Foods, you've seen that it's gone down 30%. Over the last 5 years, Tyson Foods, if you had bought Tyson Foods stock over the last 5 years, you'd be down about 19%, which isn't a great stock to have. If you bought at $80 a share, you would be paid a nice dividend. Currently, they pay close to a 3% dividend. But one thing I would share is if you see those dips, if you buy on those jagged dips, you'd be doing okay. All right, so what do I think Tyson Foods is worth? I use an intrinsic value model that I've created using, I have an MBA, I have an accounting background, and I've also used really examples that other YouTubers have put out there. So thanks to all the YouTubers who do some really good finance models for stock valuations. And I really look at free cash flows. Free cash flows tend to be the acid test for a company. If you're producing free cash, your business is very valuable. Just take a look at Google, take a look at Apple, and look at their free cash flow, and you realize why they're worth so much money is that they're producing free cash flow. So, but let's take a look at Tyson Foods in my intrinsic value model. The most recent year is fiscal year 2022, which ended at the end of September. And the free cash flow is 800 million. Now that's much lower than the previous year. Previous year, they were way up there, but it's gone down mainly because they increased their capital expense. So there's a good reason why, okay, free cash flow is down. It's because they're investing in the business, which is a good thing. So over the long haul, that's going to be a good thing. But really in my valuation, taking down free cash flows it was about 1.5 billion to 2 billion down to 800 million really affects the valuation. I believe based on a weighted average cost of capital of 7.5%, taking that 800 million, expecting that it's going to grow about 15% per year for 3 years after 2022. And taking all those factors into account, I believe the company is worth about 19 billion based on their valuation as of today. I think that valuation's a little low, but I'd rather wait a quarter or two to see their performance before I adjust with a more optimistic viewpoint. This is a very conservative viewpoint, but it's a viewpoint that I'm going to go with for another quarter or two until they have new financials. The market cap of the company is 23 billion. Outstanding shares of 360 million shares outstanding. So I think the intrinsic value per share is $52 per share, but they're trading at $64.98. Therefore, right now, you'd be buying with a 19% discount. And I'm not willing to buy more shares at that price. I want to wait a quarter or two. They do pay a dividend, so they'll pay me some interest on my position, which is a good thing. And that's my evaluation of Tyson. So just a quick review on Tyson. Their performance has been really good. Revenue growth comparing fiscal year 2021 to fiscal year 2022 was 13%. And what's also interesting is that they have higher prices but lower volumes. So their growth is really based on that price per product or per unit. And their margins have also increased, which is really good to see. Their free cash flows is where there was a big change in the company. In fiscal year 2021, their free cash flows were 2.6 billion. That was in the middle of the pandemic when everybody was going to the grocery store and buying, food to make at home rather than going to restaurants. So they really benefited from that. So they really, really scored there. And then free cash flow in fiscal year 2022 came down to 800 million. And that's predominantly because they increased their capital expense. They're updating their factories. They're really investing in the business, which is a good thing. And I think it's going to be a stronger, better Tyson Foods in the future. Their free cash flow yield is 3%. They pay a nice dividend of 2.95%. Really low price to earnings, 7.28. Just really low, really attractive PE. And they repurchased $702 million of shares in fiscal year 2022. They guided that they're going to increase sales this fiscal year by 3 to 7%, which is good sales growth, especially in a recession, which we're in. Capital expenditures are going to be 2.5 billion, which is much higher than in previous years. They're going to be profitable and continue to pay a good dividend. And they have an earnings call on February 6th that I will be viewing. My outlook is Tyson, produces or provides food. We need food to survive. So it's an industry that I want to be a part of because it's stable, because it's in demand. In 10 years, it'll be in demand. In 50 years, it'll be in demand. And Tyson continues to grow their portfolio of products, like they're in plant-based foods as an example, which is a new category that they're selling into. So it's a good company, good demand. The higher prices will result in higher margins for them. And there is high upside in this stock. If you're patient, you wait for a couple quarters and then buy at the right price. All right, so let's take a look at Tyson Foods in my scorecard. Is it a good industry to invest in? Absolutely. It's an industry that I think is good, stable. It's growing. Prices are growing. Also, Tyson Foods is growing internationally, which is good. Is the company operated well? Absolutely. Just companies operated very, very well. They're continuing to invest in the business. Their capital expense, although it affects their valuation, it's, in 2 years' time, I think they're going to be much more valuable. Am I getting a discount? No. Buying more shares today, I think you'd be holding a position that's underwater for some time until they improve. And then would I buy this stock today? I wouldn't buy additional shares. I'm a holder of this stock, but I'm going to continue to hold, but I'm not buying additional shares. All right. Well, thanks so much for watching my video. Just a quick reminder, this video is for entertainment purposes only. I'm not recommending you buy any particular stock or security. I share my experience as an individual investor, and in this case, I'm sharing my experience with Tyson Foods, and I hope you found it interesting. Well, thank you very much for watching the video. Let me wish you the best of luck in investing in 2023.